Hey guys, this is Allison from Alley Cat Creations. How are you? I'm getting my line back. It's going down. The face is still puffy, but not as puffy. Like my cheek and my lips are a little puffy. Dealing with that. Not fun. Nope. Because you gotta love things. So before I get into why we're here, please make sure you hit that thumbs button. Goes thumbs up. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. And share. And for those inquiring minds, I'm doing a new series. I have not scrapped the gray agenda. Don't think I haven't. There will be things coming out relatively soon that I want to tackle on there, but I'm still acquiring certain information. Good stuff, but it's not in its completion yet. So I'm waiting on all that. I'm doing one on the World of Warcraft. Now, I used to be a gamer. I played a long time. And I do show how that game, whether you want to believe in the simulation holographic theory or not, or the Matrix, you don't have to align with that at all. But interestingly enough, what we're going to touch upon today is very much like the characters in the game and the experiences that you have within the game and the people you meet along the way. And I really try to connect in this first video. Sorry, someone's thinking about me. My nose is very itchy. Out of nowhere. It's fine all day. How coming together as a group, a bunch of strangers, you know, obviously, sometimes you're with your friends and it's called a guild, or sometimes you're with random people, but each one of you has a job to take down the big boss so you can get your reward kind of thing. And it's within the components of knowing who you are, knowing your abilities, and executing those abilities strengthens the group dynamic and gets the job done. And a lot of what I'm going to talk about today has a lot to do with what I talked about in that episode that I'm starting. And it's going to be a continuous talk because there's a lot of levels and there's a lot of different themes I want to touch upon. So go check that out if you haven't done so already. Those of you who watch me on the I tried uploading that series. It wouldn't let me. I think the file was too big. And when I tried to go in and edit some parts out, it still wouldn't let me. So jump over to my YouTube channel if you want to see that, if you're watching and you're interested in that. So I do apologize to that audience. It's not because I didn't want to. I tried several times. It just wouldn't let me. And sometimes, just like the episode I did with the history lesson from that very amazing book, I couldn't put it on YouTube. I had to give a video and say, hey, this is where you can go find this information. Go there. So I'm going to have to do the same thing for there to come here to YouTube. So I wanted to get that out of the way. Also, before I begin, to the spiritual community at large, I'm noticing a trend happening. Someone out of nowhere, very random, messaged me today. It's somebody that I follow on Facebook, talking to me about wanting a spiritual guide and a mentor, which I would love. I'm not perfect, and I could sure use some self-help and self-work. But the way this person approached me did not resonate with me. This person was like, "Do you know who I am?" I don't care who you are. Like, trying to boost their ego. You got to take your ego out, first of all. And if you're trying to pick up a woman, no. So, and it goes both ways. It felt like an Instagram scammer. Like, "Oh, honey, I'm picking up on your energy. And oh boy, you need trauma to heal." Like, don't all of us? We all have things we need to work on. This is still third density. And it's a perpetual cycle. It never ends. It's the Lamb Chop song. Just no ending, right? But I'm going to get into this, my insights, FYI, on some sections that I wanted to bring out today from the Wondrous Handbook. It's one thing to have someone reach out to you that wants help or guidance. And most people who are in my situation are very humble to do so. But I'm very much open to having someone guide me with my abilities, someone who is way more well read in on what I could work on to unblock certain things or mechanisms. But then I would give that person consent, very key word, to read my energy. It's one thing to read someone's intention. So when someone's conversing with me online, I get an energy feedback. I get from their words and what I'm feeling from what is being projected at me, I can feel intention. I'm not going into somebody's auric field and now studying them and picking up on things because they did not give me consent to do so. I'm picking up the energy that they're sending me. There's a big difference. And someone's telling me my pineal gland's calcified, and do I know who they are? No, that doesn't play well with me. I don't respect that. And I don't know, I did not resonate with, they kept claiming that I have a lot of fear and that I got to let go of my suffering. I'm living moment to moment, which I'm going to go into. I don't fear. I left that a long time ago. Sure, do I have anxiety over certain things? They're logically sounding. How am I going to pay the bills this month is a logical anxiety. I got this beautiful letter from my state today about the unemployment that it will not be getting because of their claims. That is absolutely unconstitutional and wrong. Mind you, I live in a communist state, so anything that they claim is null and void anyway, because they breached the federal constitution. Regardless, every one of us has anxieties over things that are human experiences that we signed up to do. So I don't fear the things because I know I signed up for this experience, and in divine timing, we'll get out of this. It's not because I'm sitting on my ass and doing nothing all day. I'm reading and researching and doing a lot. Also dealing with an infection. Regardless, if those of you who are out there who are new to this, or is someone seasoned in the spiritual movement, this needs to stop, because too many people are getting taken advantage of. And I could say this, I didn't read into this person's intentions to know if they were really being sincere or that they were trying to ruse me, but it didn't resonate with me in the wording that they chose to project at me. Didn't resonate. I don't put myself above anybody else because we're all equal, because we are all one and the same. We are all living in the same 3D construct, whether you see it as a matrix or not. We are all versions of each other. Yes, there are higher levels of consciousness and awareness. That's not a mistake. But we all have pieces to the puzzle, just like I was bringing into the World of Warcraft game. Everybody has a job and everybody has different talents. But when you combine everything together, you can take down the evil monster. And then you can individually go off on your quests. But just be wary of people like that. You know, a lot of people use their ego, which is absolutely fine. But what I was getting from this conversation was not correct. And I think that a lot of people are getting that as well. And I'm just putting that out there into the ether. It's one thing you want to help somebody. You know, people are like, you should be a spiritual coach. I don't feel right charging my people for advice that may or may not work for them, because I'm only giving my perception of things. My perception and my ways of doing things might not be for somebody else. And the same goes with me. If someone wants to give me advice, great. There should be an energy exchange, absolutely. But I don't consent to somebody trying to tell me about my pineal gland and that they could see things. Well, I would hope that almost everybody's in the United States, and probably more so in the United States than the rest of the world, because of all the stuff that's in our food, organic or not, they're all tainted, have some part of their pineal gland calcified. I mean, I don't have teeth because of all the fluoride treatments that I had to endure, because it was supposedly good. It all resonates with what I'm going to read next, so don't worry, I'm not just ranting. Just a rant. So I want to tackle entering fully into the present moment. And we're going to end off on a very similar topic, because this is not easy. This is very hard to consciously live in the present moment and only focus on that. Can't worry or fear what's to come or what was behind us. Each moment crosses into eternity. The fear of what's to come or even anxiety is heavy for many, but release of these emotions are essential. It's just an illusion. We need free-flowing energy, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. Watch my last episode on the Wanderer's Handbook. I go over the forgiveness. Self-empowerment are the key elements, and also to have faith. Very hard, right? I've learned in this time frame the lessons of letting go. That I cannot control everything that's in my purview. I could try to manifest. I could try to put the energy out there, but I can't control everybody and everything in my environment. I can't tell somebody to hire me. I can't tell somebody to hire me without, and that I can't do that. I can't. It doesn't change anything. So I have to let it go. I have to release the fact that I have to wait it out until I get a sign from the universe where to go, because my situation is extremely tricky. And I have to have faith that everything will work out with the divine timing that it's going to work out in. Can't worry about the past because that's already happened and it's done with. And I can't really worry about the future because it's unwritten. I mean, divinely it's written, but the free will that we choose what we, each action puts into motion another timeline. So by my non-inaction is still an action. So right now I'm waiting on a sign to know what I am going to do. Am I staying in New York and waiting for the shit show to happen, which should be any day now, if not weeks? I'm getting sick of this timeline changing nonsense. Or am I going to consciously, which I have been doing, looking at different areas of the US to move to? But again, it's divine timing. I'm going to quote Quo. The most strengthening gift that you can cultivate in the regard of this most important and central service is the gift of persistence and unflagging acceptance of any and all circumstances, because it is only an illusion that lies between you and that which is the truth. So understanding that this really is an illusion, that this is a test, that this is catalyst after catalyst that we throw into our own experience to overcome and to learn from, and just let go, because the truth is on the other end. Anything that doesn't align with the heart must fall away. One must be flexible and adapt, but also learn new ways. So anything that's not in your heart space and it's not aligning with you, you gotta let it go. I refuse to work for establishments who continue the tyranny. I don't buy into it. Therefore, I'm not going to put my energy into places, peoples, or things that comply with tyranny. I won't do it. It's against my alignment. And as much as a lot of people want to help and they're trying to do it out of a good place, they just absolutely are blind to see the real problem going on in the world. And I refuse to partake in any of that. If we feel limited, we must accept and look at the action and see if another avenue or path becomes present. So again, there's a lot of us who feel very limited right now. We know we have a mission to be jumping into. We have, especially starseeds, and light workers, we know that things are on its way. We feel the energy shifting. Today, I was just downloading and meditating and playing binaural beats for the most part, because my brain wouldn't function today. And then after that conversation, I needed to really like sage myself and like shield myself and put myself in a better mind space. I give people the time of day, but when people throw me off, I need to realign. And we're going to go into the next topic in a minute, but balancing oneself. When one accepts, be it easy or difficult, is appreciating every facet of Creator that is shown to you also to build appreciation so that it becomes a more natural way to accept, give praise, and appreciate everything for the experiences being delivered for you. I might have a co-host coming up in a second. Here she comes. Say hi. We need to have more the gratitude attitude, which love is the base. So when we're in the attitude of gratitude or gratitude of the attitude, you're taking whatever is coming into your present moment, accepting it for what it is, appreciating the learning experience that you're going to take from it, and you're going to use love as its base. So what is it showing you? So you're entering in the present moment. You're living in the present moment. How do you deal with the harder things? Is by asking yourself consciously, why is this here? Why did it appear? What lesson is it here to make light of? What is this trying to show me? What is this trying to teach me? Once we flip that mindset and start accepting it, and then what if it's negative, release? Okay, so this was bad. Okay, this person was, I didn't feel great when this person was talking to me. Okay, what did I gain from that experience? That I'm not going to give that person any more of my time or energy because it's not resonating with me. And if I don't like how someone's speaking to me or projecting themselves, I don't need to accept it. I can very nicely shut it down and move on. And I think I did very well in doing that without being that disrespectful. And I try to insert some advice there. I'm like, you shouldn't approach a woman like that. There was some innuendos there. So we gotta appreciate it, balance it, repel it, say, oh, okay, and learn. And we have to remind ourselves this is just an illusion. We're playing a role. So how we play it, it's like playing chess. There's a move to a counter move. And no, you're not trying to take pieces and pawns off the board, but you're clearing your path away for your own attainment, for your acknowledging that moment and every moment forward. And you're not really staying in the past where you're only conjuring up negative experiences. And even if you're trying to remember good experiences, the past is back there and you're not going back there. You're moving forward. But if you are too forward, you're daydreaming about the future. You're not really in the present moment and you're not helping your situation. And yes, we all do that. We all have desires. We all want to dream big and put out that energy. But if we do it all the time, we're not focusing on the now. And that's really where the energy that we need to evolve is in the present moment. So just to cover this entering fully in the present moment, come at everything with your heart. If something does not align with you, release it, let it go. Let it fall away. Be flexible because some things may work better in a different way that you haven't done before. And again, it's very hard for us to change our ways because we're so used to doing everything in the way that we do it, that sometimes doing it differently will help. And that's also learning new ways. So if you're at a job and you're on one operating system and then they change the computer system and you have to relearn everything, maybe that system is better, but you don't know until you try. And that's like the easiest example I can give. Balancing the self. Quo states that balancing the mind-body-soul complex takes a lifetime. The process is us growing through different periods in our life. We shouldn't expect it to end. And I'm going to quote Quo. At that point, the self is becoming the creator, moving back into the great unknowing, unconscious will of infinite intelligence, which is the infinite creator, end quote. Balancing happens to continue from incarnation to incarnation, all the lives of one soul with its energies. So when we think about balancing, it's a little difficult because you're conscious in this body, in this vehicle right now, but you inhabited other vehicles throughout your soul's journey in a physical vehicle, and sometimes not. So we, each time we incarnate, take a lifetime to balance our energy, our chakras. They're not always in alignment every day. I don't care what the best guru tells you. There are very, very, very few people in this world who can carry a full energy of full balanced chakras at every moment of every day that you exist. You know, sometimes you just wake up and you're tired, you're sleepy. There's other days that, you know, the world is stressing you out. You're human, you have hormones. That unbalances you right away. It's your energy. Some days you're energized, you get up and everything is great and dandy. And some days you just wake up and it's like it's like the saying, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. You woke up and you just, meh. And you're allowed to have that. No one's saying you can't. But how do you find how to rebalance yourself when you feel that way? And again, you're entitled, you're human, to feel that way. You wake up one day, like I woke up today. I was just overwhelmed with a lot of energy. Just, you know, I played some binaural beats. I did like 3 meditations throughout the day. I took a cleansing shower. I actually today let my hair air dry. I never do that. I just was like, I don't want to deal with the hair dryer and the hot iron. I'm just gonna let it go. And luckily today it's not humid, so I don't have Einstein hair, because my hair gets really frizzy. So I just let it go today. Today was just like, I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna try to rebalance why I felt the way I did today. I'm just gonna sit in myself. I'm gonna go silent. I'm gonna listen to some good light language and meditate. That's what I did today. That's how I balanced myself. But we also have to be aware that we are aspects of creator. We're fractalized portions of creator playing out this experience for it. And I'm calling it because I don't like to give it a gender. We are infinite. And we have to take that power and hone it in. When we unblock the energies and chakras, we are balancing not only our chemical body with our atoms, but the energy flow to the universe and the planet. So many people will feel that they need, you know, let's just say a lot of people have throat chakra issues where they just can't get the words to come out that how they want to express themselves, or say something to somebody, it just doesn't come out. And that's usually a block. So going within and unblocking, playing, there's a lot of different types of music that you can play to help you unlock that unblocking energy for the throat chakra. And it can be any one of your chakras. I'm just using throat as an example because a lot of people have that. There's a block there. A lot of people have it when it comes to certain things. But we should take a close look at the balance of love and wisdom. And each of us have different things to balance. We are all individuals, even though we are one and the same. We are individualized in this experience, in this illusion. We are all having an experience that is very individualized, and how each of us go about our coming into the present moment and balancing ourselves is all very individual. There is no right or wrong way to do it. You have to take what resonates with you. Okay, someone's thinking about me. It's really annoying. Thank you, though. But not fun. We need to come from a love space, unconditional for ourselves. We need to forgive ourselves. And we need to release. Once we can get that honed in and realize and actualize it, balancing other aspects will be a lot easier. But again, we're all individuals. So every one of us is working on different things to balance. And it's not going to happen overnight. It takes, again, like some people take a lifetime. And maybe in this life, you're focusing on, like, maybe one of your life lessons is to self-love. And to realize that you should have love for yourself. That's a huge lesson, and it takes a lifetime, because when you are born, you perceive the world in one lens. When you hit puberty, you see life in a whole different type of lens. It's distorted. You're just grasping what the world is. You think you know what the world is, but in your pubescent, you're that rebellious child, and maybe not, but even in your thoughts, you're still taking in your environment. You're still trying to comprehend the world around you and how it works. And no one really knows how it really literally works, because the paradigm is going to shift again very soon. And history has to be rewritten. This is where we're at. There's a lot that's going to be crumbling down. Our societal, what we think in society is how it works, is going to crumble in front of everybody very soon. It's starting to already. And you have to prepare yourself to keep yourself balanced when it does. That's why I'm doing this episode. Whether you want to believe it or not, or Allison has a tinfoil hat crown, you can have that judgment on me all day long. The paradigm that you thought you knew is crumbling in front of your face. If you are aware of what's going on, it doesn't matter, it's still going to crumble, and then we're going to be the ones that have to pick up everybody else to help balance them. So it's a justice of weight, right? We have to know ourselves. We have to know our heart space. We have to know not to judge others because they did not know. And we have to come out of it and come through all of this paradigm shifting with unconditional love for everybody and for humanity, because we're a species, we're one. We are human, all of us, unless you're a hybrid, but you're still half human, so better none than something else. We also, for some of us, can balance the polarity of being a male and female, and knowing that both aspects lie within ourselves. We are all different expressions of the one. This is something a lot of people have a hard time dealing with in society and at large. I am not a girly girl, but I'm not a tomboy. And some days I want to reflect more of my feminine side than I do of my masculine side. But I'm very balanced in knowing how and what polarity to choose, what I want to express. I'm very comfortable with both my sides. I'm trying to manifest a trip to an event in July. It's 4 or 5 states away. I want to take a driving trip if I can. If I can, I can't. To an event. I want to meet a few people that have very much inspired me, influenced me, and has certainly captured my heart with their information and just their beautiful message that they put out. And the incentive in that for me wanting to do this trip is to see outside of my purview where I could move. So it's like a twofer. Now, why am I like talking about that? Well, because again, I should be only thinking in the present moment, but I'm just so excited about wanting to go and trying to put it into a manifestation that I can get there safely, and that I can discover if these places that I'm traveling through, the states that I'm going to be going through and driving through, if this is where the energy is taking me, if this is what resonates with where I want to go. Because if it's not, okay, I tried, I put the energy out there. I looked around, I made the conscious effort to take a look into these places, and then I get a bonus, I get to meet people. But if it doesn't work out, I didn't lose anything because I gained. But I was thinking about the outfit that I want to wear. Do I want to be more masculine in my dress? Because I can go both ways. I look either very feminine or very masculine in my apparel. There's no either or. I'm wearing combat boots with jeans and a t-shirt with a chain wallet, or I'm wearing a dress like I am now. What do I want to wear? So it's just what aspect do I want people to see me in? And for some people, that's not an easy thing to balance, that aspect of themselves, that they have to always appear in a certain way in front of people. When you go to work, you have to look a certain way. You have to be professional. You have to, and is it the pantsuit or is it the dress? For men, it's almost very similar. Is that pink shirt acceptable? Is people going to view me in a different light that I'm wearing a purple or a pink pastel shirt? And even if you are resonating in the LGBTQ community, you still have the same thing and the same balancing of your polarity to do too. This isn't this encompasses everybody. We all have those aspects of ourselves in here. Are you more feminine or more masculine? And how do you balance those energies? So that's something also to take into consideration. And again, we're all individual and we all express ourselves in an individual way. But we have to find the balance and create that balance within ourselves. Don't deny one aspect of yourself because it's not socially acceptable. No, do you. If you want to wear that pantsuit, go the fuck ahead. If you want to wear that pink shirt, go the fuck ahead. Do you. Don't wrestle with it. Don't question it. You have to feel comfortable in your own skin. That's also recognizing that there are masculine components of a female and there are female components to a male, and that you have to balance them out. Keep in mind, if we are a service to others, and creator temptations will occur. So if we are a service to others and the creator, there will be temptations that will occur to unbalance us, to test. Keep the service to others as a goal and balance when you feel off track or falling off your path. And that would also be the same if you're a service to yourself, because you're still being a service to creator. You might get tempted to be a service to others. And that might throw you off track. That might throw you off track. Just saying. But if you really are a service to others, like I am, I'm always getting a test here and there. Today was definitely somebody testing me. But I didn't resonate with it. And so I released it. But I felt like it needed to be warned for a lot of people out there who are very susceptible to people like that. I need somebody to give me positivity and to say, well, here's what I can offer you in terms of being a mentor. And we can work on decalcifying your pineal gland. We can work on the journey of the trauma or the fear that, is stopping and blocking you from gaining certain things. But it's in how you deliver and say it. And when you claim, do you know who I am? Well, we're all human. We're all a part of creator. I just don't live in my ego about it because we're all one. So just keep that in mind, that there will be people that do tempt you. Take what resonates with you if they're trying to help you. Yeah, I noticed that my lights are going very light and very dark. Don't worry, I saged. I'm getting visitors. Don't fall off track. There are going to be people like that. I get it on Instagram all the time. Oh, your energy feels off. Can I do a reading for you? No, you're a scammer. I could do my own reading. Thank you very much. I have all these cards behind me. And again, you then know if someone's doing that to you, to just not answer them or to politely say no. And if you're somebody that doesn't do cards or doesn't look into that stuff, that's fine. But just know there are a lot of people out there who do that because they want your money. And people fall for that. And you're not getting an honest reading. You might maybe 1 in 100 times, but half of the times they're bots. So just be aware of that. I don't want to see anybody in this community or any of the communities get hurt by others in their ego. Re-seeing the self. We never stop redefining ourselves. We change at each stage of our lives. We see the world through many pairs of our eyes. As a child, through puberty, young adult, adult midway, so between like your mid-20s to your late 30s, into your 40s, and then you have your adult life in your mid-40s to your mid-60s. And then and not to say anybody, I'll define an elderly now, like 75 and up. My mother would be kicking me right now because she passed at 71. And she was sharp as a tack. And I used to work amongst the elderly with my first career. And they were a hip and liven and amazing people. And they made me laugh. And I love them very much. And age is just a number, but the experience is what I'm talking about. But through our pair of eyes, when you're a little kid, you're just seeing what your parents are doing for you. You're taking in and analyzing what the world is, right? So you're seeing the world in one perception. And then as you get older, you go through school, you build some experience, right? You see the world in a different lens. And I was explaining this before, but it's a little more. And as you get into your young adulthood, you're able to vote, you're able to get alcohol, you're able to obtain a rent-a-car, you're able to have a little bit more freedom than you did in your pubescence into your early 20s. Now you're able to start becoming an adult. And you have a little job and you work, part-time, and you're going to school or you're doing a trade or whatever you're doing, but you're still gaining that life experience because now you're really in the real world. You're out of school. No one's there to really train you in real world experience. Because I could tell you what, everybody that went to school, when you get a job, you have to be trained regardless if you have that college education. So then you get through into your mid-30s and the perception of the world definitely changed. I am not the same mindfully thinking person in my 20s that I am now at almost 40. My whole world conception has changed. It flipped on its freaking back for a lot of reasons. I was awoken, like spirit woke me up to it. But a lot of people perceive things as you go through the worldly experiences. Things have a habit of unwrapping itself and you form new opinions, and you're allowed to. And you're allowed to change. It's a part of your experience. And then you get into, then you have, some people have families and some people have different family dynamics, and things start to change and life starts to change. You raise your kids and now you're in your, late 50s, early 60s. And again, you're now perceiving the world a little differently than you did when you were in your 20s and in your 30s. Because you have gained a lot more life experience. You have seen a different side to the world that most people haven't seen because you have lived it all. And then again, in your elderly stage, now you've been through a bunch of generations, and then you see the reflections of each generation as they're growing up, and you're looking down at them, not in a bad way, but you're looking at, oh, those are the people that are going to be taking care of me. And that's just a very scary thing. That kind of deal. So no matter what stage you're at watching this, just know that your perception is absolutely going to change, and it's okay if it does. There are going to be a lot of paradigm shifting very soon. And what I mean by that is, and I'm not trying to take away anything from the book, I just think it's very important that you hear me out. There are a lot of things going on in our world, and they're being exposed. Now, again, a lot of it's political, and a lot of it isn't. But we all have to come to an agreement that the state of the world right now is not a good one. We have extremely high prices in gas. So even if I wanted to get a job outside of my neighborhood, it would be very costly and unaffordable for me. There are people who don't have even the money to get onto transportation or feed their babies because the stock isn't in the store. And there are food shortages, and there are situations where things are going to get worse. It's to show everybody what the real agenda was. But you have to feel it and go through it in order to understand it. So people who are aware are suffering big time, like myself. But I'm not suffering in any way that I can undo my suffering. It's just the suffering that I'm dealing with is really wanting to shake people awake. But I can't do that. That's up to the individual to come to their own awakening. And they will at some point, but sometimes you just, because I love everybody and I want everybody to be okay. You get angry out of love sometimes. And that's real. I want to shake people like, don't you see what's going on? A lot of people don't. There are a lot of things happening. Baby formula, war, threats. There are going to be a lot of things with the money systems. If you haven't already noticed the what's happening in Wall Street, gas prices. It's affecting everybody, no matter where you live. The formula is a specific reason in the United States. It's an agenda. I don't like it. But look what's unraveling in the news with the Johnny Depp case. That's kind of a look over here, so you're not seeing what's happening over here kind of thing. SCOTUS is looking into not just one case, it's two. One's a distraction, one's really happening. No matter what side of the coin of the fence that you're on, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to judge you. But you have to start realizing and seeing how things are starting to play out and what is it trying to show you? What are they trying to tell you? Why is all this happening? It is the Great Awakening, by the way. And when things do happen, and they will, no matter what side you're on, some people's paradigms are going to change. Some people's way of thinking is going to change. Your thinking might change. But you should not submit to the fear. You should not fall victim to their propaganda. And you should just know that everything will be okay. But when we are re-seeing the self, this is why I bring this up, because it matters. because your way of thinking and looking at yourself has morphed throughout your life. And the events that are about to unfold, and if they already been unfolding, a lot of people are still not cognizant of it just yet, but it's going to be in everybody's faces if it already hasn't dawned on you that there's a lot wrong with this world. A lot of things are happening for a perception to wake people up. That things cannot continue this way because it doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help the poverty-stricken, which it's really bad for right now, more so than the rich people who are just going about in the bond in their lives like nothing matters because they have expendable cash. Well, once the stock market crashes and once all the cryptocurrencies make a landfall, a lot of people are going to be in dismay. When they possibly might be DEFCON 1, and there might be a threat of a nuclear war, which actually it would be more of an atomic because nuclear needs to be stable. It's perception. But in those moments, instead of fearing, ask yourself, how do you view yourself? How do you see yourself? How do you view your progression of yourself through this life? So those are very monumental things that you need to take into account. How do you view yourself in this present moment? And then when the structure changes around you, are you going to view yourself the same way? How did you react to those catalysts that are being put into your path? Now, again, go back to the karma. Go back to that episode where I'm talking about catalysts. This is just a catalyst for awakening. To wake people up consciously to know that they've been in a shit show their entire lives. They just weren't aware of it. That the rulers, the dictators, the tyranny has always existed. We were just mind controlled not to see it. They did such a good job at hiding all the wrongs and folding the law how they wish. This letter that I received today says I quit. I never quit my job. I was asked not to come in. That's not me quitting. And I could show them proof of that because I took a package that says I'm in good standing to be rehired. So I did not quit. And at the bottom, it says you knew or should have known that your actions would jeopardize your job. So my body, my choice, my exemptions were denied unlawfully, weren't even considered or looked at. I'm sure they just put denied without reading my exemptions. There was no due process. And then a court did later on after I went through with this, said, no, you can go and put it in again. Mandatory isn't a law. Read your constitutional rights. And I don't care what side of the fence you're on with this issue with the, okay. We still have rights as Americans, ordained by Creator. And when you are employed by somebody, you sign a contract. My contract that I signed had nothing about this. and had nothing to say that if there, in an event of emergency, if things were to change and there was executive orders that overrided my contract, that I oblige to that. No. I didn't sign such a contract, and my union did nothing to help me. Unconstitutional. I live in a dictatorship. And as we're finding out now, I'm more the better that I didn't do it. Obviously, I'm allergic. Besides that point. But I don't view myself any differently for making a choice that I knew that if I went along with the crowd, I could have kept my job and been fine, possibly, if I didn't go into anaphylactic shock and die. That was my option. Keep my job, comply to something that is not the law. It's just a suggestion. That's what a mandate is. Or risk death. I'm not risking anything. So this is how I view myself. I didn't put myself in harm's way. I chose life. My life. So I matter to myself. I love myself. And how do I view my progression of yourself through life? I think I've done a really good job throughout my life, balancing myself out when I was unbalanced, when I was cognizant of it. In my adult life, it took me some time to understand everything that I'm trying to say to you. My whole life, 4 years ago, was uprooted and thrown off to the side like a twister. And I had to put the pieces of my life back together again. Not just because my mother died, because a whole new world unraveled in front of my eyes. And that's the truth. And there was too many damning evidence that showed me and proved to me otherwise. So when Ra does say, and Quo, and Hatann, and Latwii tell you this is an illusion, oh, it is. So ask yourself those questions and really dawn on them. Really think about them. And especially for the things that are coming up. Don't judge yourself. It's okay. How are you going to respond to the things that are now going to come up in the world? How are you going to deal with them? Only you have those answers. But again, ease into everything. Love yourself. Don't judge. Release what does not align with you. And stay the course. This is a quote from Quo. This is a process which must partake of the breaking or shedding of the older ways of perceiving, of thinking, and of doing, so that there might be made a place for a new way of perceiving and of bringing forth that quality of compassion and understanding that has long been hidden within the hearts of many who have incarnated. It's beautiful. It's a really beautiful quote. So we really need to take in that idea. And this quote takes everything that you just said. You have to shed away the old way of seeing things and experiencing things and seeing life. And we have to bring in and perceive what the new life has to offer. Not only does this help yourself, but this helps the planet. because you're choosing to swap your mindset and understand that your way of thinking wasn't of the good or wasn't of a balance. Not that of a good. I'm sure everybody watching me is good. This cat. So what process can we use to re-seeing ourselves in its full capacity? It's through visualization and seeing others as the light body. Seeing ourselves as creator. Focus on your perfect self, being mindful, revisualize yourself in perfection, in harmony with all things. So it's not just what's about to come in our purview. It's everything that happened before and staying in the present moment. So balancing yourself in the present moment, realigning your chakras, coming to understand that things are about to change because we're on the midst of obtaining a new level of the playing field, fourth density, more consciousness, becoming more self-aware, having compassion, being a part of a social memory complex. We're all working towards the same goal. We all individually have different jobs to get there. Just like in the game World of Warcraft that I did an episode on. We all have a role that we play, and we all play that role differently. My character in the game was a hunter. I had a pet, and each pet had different abilities. And there's 3 different types of ways I could be a hunter. I can have a gun, I can have a crossbow, or can have a bow. Each thing has a different magical power. So when I'm applying and playing, my abilities don't impede on anybody else. It's helping the whole take down the big evil boss. Someone behind me is what's called a healer, and they spring into either a tree or they bubble, or they have abilities where they can shield and protect those who are fighting. They're very much needed, like the guy who is up slicing and dicing the boss. Everybody plays a role and everybody plays it differently, but the end goal is the same thing. We all want this world a better place. We all want peace. We all want to just move on with reality in this game. We all want to be abundant. We all want everybody to be taken care of. But we can't get there if we're not visualizing that for not just yourself, for everybody. So that's a part of raising and balancing your chakra systems. That's a part of you grounding to earth. That's a part of you looking in the mirror and visualizing yourself a part of the whole. Being that creator, because you are a creator. You're not the one creator of the all and everything. You're an aspect of creator who is creating the reality that we're all living in. And now we need to start putting all the visualization together to form a union, a whole, with the goal of changing this world for the betterment of everybody. Not just one class, not just the right or the left, not of that country or this country. Everybody that encompasses this planet and space. So just focus on your perfect self. How do you see yourself? How can you see yourself perfect? How can you visualize that? Do it. living in the moment. The trick is the magic in the moment. Quo states the hardest part is letting go of the past and future. As we are on the dawn of graduation or harvest, and serve the Creator, opening our hearts in the present moment. We need to practice this precious oneness with the Creator. This is a quote from Quo. For each moment is itself whole and perfect. When one is in the moment, one is not in time. End quote. Relax in the timeless moment. You are infinite. Love, light, energy in this physical vehicle, an energy shell. We choose to be here, going through so much before to be conscious of it all now. We choose to experience this density for the negative and the positive. This is the present moment. Be here now. All is about intention without judging. Dig into the peace in the moment, make it a mindset. When you are giving your attention to the here and now, like right here, right now, you're fully present in the energy being presented to you and at you. You're recognizing your auric field. You're recognizing the oneness you are with the planet. You are recognizing yourself in the here and the now. And that's what we all need to start focusing on. How do you do that? You can meditate. If you're not a meditator, it's the intention. So if you're going about your day, you're brushing your teeth, make the intention when you look in the mirror and ask yourself, who am I and why am I here? Answer those questions. As you're going about your everyday moment, before you start at the computer, take a big deep breath in. Become aware of yourself in that moment. Release all the negativity and ask yourself, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? Answer that question. Before you go to sleep, visualize how you would like to see yourself in this present moment. You can exaggerate as much as you want. Are you that superhero? Did you do a good deed that you would like to reflect upon? How can you take that good deed and spread it out? Be conscious in those moments. There are some meditations where like you put your tongue on a tooth and you only think about being in that moment and staying there and focusing on your tongue touching the tooth. That's it. In other meditations, you're just visualizing a paper falling down, continuously falling down, and focusing in on only on that moment of it falling down. It doesn't ever hit the floor. It just keeps falling and falling and falling and falling and falling. And you just keep focusing on that. For others, is focusing just on your breath and keeping your attention there. And these are very hard meditative skills to keep, but those are a start on how to stay in the present moment. And again, we're human. We're always thinking behind, oh, I could have done that better, and I could have done this, and I could have done that, or this situation could have turned out better if I reacted differently. But again, those are lessons. And once you take those lessons, you release and you move on, because there's more challenges and lessons to learn. If you're thinking way too far in the future, you're exaggerating that future. Possibly. Not all the time. But you're inserting your desires, you're inserting possibilities that can happen in your future. Don't get upset if they don't play out, because none of us are mind readers. And even mind readers can't look at, maybe your timeline changed. Maybe an event happened and it knocked everything off that was out of your control. So what Quo and the book is trying to say is to keep more in the presence of now, because everything is undefined moving forward. Only moment by moment do you define the events that trickle into the future. But sometimes outside catalysts happen that knock you off your path. So how do you get back on? By knowing yourself and being flexible and diverting yourself to a better path. Sometimes things don't happen the way they're supposed to because something better is on its way. It just has to go through nasty shit to get there. So know yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and ask very difficult questions. None of this is easy. Entering fully into the present moment. Not easy. Takes a lifetime to know who you are. And you're always constantly changing. But again, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness, and self-empowerment is the key. And have faith. Balancing yourself. It's okay to be off balance. We're human. But when you feel off, accept it. Do what you can to come into the awareness that you're unbalanced, and try to work with why you're unbalanced. And then once you figure out why, go within and balance your space. Balance your reactions. Be mindful how you are reacting to stimulus and the catalysts that are being put in your path. Maybe you're not reacting properly. Maybe you're just not taking things the right way. Take the step back and reflect. Why was that person reacting that way to me? I'm only responding this way. Well, maybe if you responded in this way, you would have gotten a different result from that person. It's what you're projecting out. Project good intentions out. Re-seeing yourself. Things are about to change in our world. If you're not aware of this, that's okay. But many people are. And we're going to be very heavily tested in the next couple of weeks. And I know I keep saying it, and a lot of things have happened. It's just not everywhere. But there's a lot of trials going on in the courts, and there's a lot of truths coming out. Whether they're exposed or not on the mainstream is, it is what it is. But it's out, the news is out there, you can find it. What is this trying to show me, and what is this trying to teach me? And how can I insert myself into this scenario and know that everything's going to be okay? Know that maybe my perception has to change about how the world works, because I thought some of these people were really good and they turned out to be really wicked. And maybe I shouldn't be so easily manipulated when people are talking. Maybe I should indulge in some research before I make a judgment on somebody. And I'm talking about high powered status people. And again, it's not to judge them. They're here as catalysts to show you and wake you up. That's their job, whether they are aware of it or not. They're here to help awaken you to an agenda that will come to light very soon. So how do you re-see yourself and how do you reset yourself if you're not along with the paradigm swap? Okay, so how do I manage to take what I'm getting and reroute my thinking or adapt? Still, what's going to happen isn't going to change much of yourself. It will change perceptions. But then how do you change yourself to vision the better world that we're going to move into? And then again, living in the moment. And how do you respond to that? How do you focus in on that moment? Each moment that passes by is a moment, like I'm living in the moment right now because I'm speaking to all of you. I'm living in a moment. And when I'm done with this, I'll be in my next moment. Moments. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I didn't want to get too off tangent, but it all kind of tries to wrap it into each other. Again, we are all on the same team. We're on humanity, human Terran team. There is a lot going on in our world that we don't really have too much of a say or control over right now. Who's in control? The one, the only creator. Every harvest, there's a great catastrophe, calamity, or event that took place before a new dawn of an age came into an existence, and we're here. The new dawn is here. The new existence is about to arrive. And doing all this inner work and self-work and asking yourself, what is your purpose? What are you doing here? Who are you? Is super important, because that hones in that you pass third density. You are aware of who you are. You self-identify. You are consciously aware of the moment that you're living in. You are consciously cognizant of yourself. You're balancing your energies out. You are aware of your positive side and your negative side, because they both play key roles here. You have to have both in third density. You have to be positive and negative. It's yin and yang. That's how this side of this planetary system, third density, third dimension works. So you can't be ashamed of the negative and shadow side of yourself, because those are the very aspects of yourself you need to balance with your positive. And the same thing, being overly positive without acknowledging your negative is not good. Just like your feminine side to your masculine side, you have to come to terms that you have both. And you can either not express either one or express one more than the other, but you have to acknowledge you have both. That's just what balancing is, in my opinion. So take that as it is. I want everybody to be aware of the future comings, because I don't want you in a fear space. You know, whether it happens in days, 2 weeks, or months. Last year I was telling everybody about the food shortages and to stock up. And it got timelined back and back, but now everybody's now seeing that I was telling the truth to a capacity. To stock up, certain things won't be, I don't know which ones, or well, now it's baby food. formula. Who knows what next? And then the food plants, all of a sudden, all these food plants keep going up and getting on fire. I know what they're doing, but that leaves a lot of food not being able to be accessed. There might be a nuclear war, even though nuclear war can't really technically happen because nuclear objects have to be stable and can't be stable being dropped. Atomic gifts. But our galactic friends won't allow that to happen, because not only does that rift the time and space continuum in third density, it reverberates through all the densities and dimensions that are above us that inhabit the same space. We have multiple dimensions and densities inhibiting the same space we're in. Hence why we have ghosts. Just for instance. And our galactic friends of a higher density. It affects them too. They won't let it happen. It's just going to be an event that might scare people. So if it does happen, or you do hear about it, don't be in fear. It's an illusion. They'll make it look really real. Again, it's an illusion. CGI is very advanced. And I'm going to leave it there. I like to weave in what I know into my spiritual stuff so that you're aware of what I'm aware. And I want everybody to be safe. And a part of that being safe is being aware of the things that may happen, might not happen, but they're possibilities, and we need to take those possibilities into an account, and that you are prepared mentally to understand if something does go down. Oh, that's what Allison said. Oh, okay, don't fear. So I'm sending each and every one of you love and light. Please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Please share if you have it in your heart to do so. I should be doing some oracle readings later on in the day. I've been trying to rest this because it's still, obviously you can see it's still a little red. But I'm getting my line back. It's not all the way. I still have a pocket up here. So today I really wanted to rest because I did a lot of reading the other day. And that really wasn't a lot of reading. But for having an infection in my face, it was. So I'm going to do some oracle readings. I'm hoping tomorrow, if this is all better. And I'm going to be working on the law of one again. There's still some videos I need to revamp. But I felt like this is, again, Spirit tells me, I look at all the books and then Spirit guides me to what I need to project and portray. And these are the points that Spirit wanted me to read to all of you. So just know that I am just a messenger. And so are you guys. I hope everybody has an amazing night, day, and evening, and afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Please be safe. Please be aware. Ask yourself, what are you doing here? What's your mission? And I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.